This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by RexMD. Guys, going to the doctor to talk about your issues can be a problem. First, you got to book an appointment. Then you got to go and wait in the waiting room before you talk to the doctor. Then sometimes it can be a little bit embarrassing to talk about issues that could be a little bit personal. Well, here's the thing. Most men's health issues have really simple solutions, and RexMD is all about simple solutions.
RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver to your door. There's no office visits, no talking to a receptionist. It's super simple. Did you know that Viagra can cost around $90 a pill? But RexMD has generic Viagra for as low as just $2 a pill. Just fill out a quick medical questionnaire on their website, and a doctor will review your situation and prescribe you generic Viagra if appropriate. Your medication gets shipped right to your door with free 2-day shipping. It's fast, simple, and cheap, and you can access your U.S. licensed RexMD physician anytime you need afterwards. RexMD has helped over 300,000 guys get generic Viagra quickly and conveniently. RexMD just works, and it works the very first night.
Act now. Take advantage of their deal by heading to rexmd.com/CU podcast. Our exclusive deal will save you up to 95% off, which is as low as $2 per dose on generic Viagra instead of $90 plus on Viagra. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/CU podcast for up to 95% off plus a free gift. Your partner will thank you. Ian, we got a Q&A.
We do. A return to the Q&A.
Francis at far316_. Thoughts on the eBay vault for remote collection, storing, and buying, selling? I'd rather have cards in my possession. Ian, what do you have to think about this?
Well, I feel like this is more your start here. I want to hear what you have to say about this one.
Okay. So the phenomenon now lately, really the past 3-4 years, obviously, is more and more speculation when it comes to collectible markets, sports cards, Pokemon cards, video games through obviously sealed shenanigans and WADA and Heritage Auction stuff. And I'm probably missing some that have really popped up more and exploded and now have obviously crashed the past year and a half. A lot of stuff like the sealed game market has obviously crashed and burned about for almost like 2 years now. It's on the downtrend. So eBay is offering this service called eBay Vault, which basically means that you buy something through an eBay seller. It can get shipped directly to the vault. Or I guess eBay can also do things well. So
real quick, I just want to make sure the reason I wanted you to start is because I don't really understand this. Is it really as plainly simple as it looks? Is this just buying stuff and then having them hold it for you?
Yes. I mean, look at what they offer here. So you submit things, you can ship.
Okay. I couldn't believe it was actually just that.
So there's going to be, I guess they're going to have reputable sellers that you can ship from checkout. You can ship from yourself if you own the item. Or you can, I guess, drop it off to booths at select card shows that they're going to be at for here. So they're just doing cards, right? Then they'll give you, I guess, an app that you can then track the value of everything in their fucking vault that you have there. Or I guess the whole market you can track your inventory of what you have. Then if you want to sell it, I believe it streamlines the experience from the vault to the next person who can keep it in the vault. This is why this is so.
I
used the word craven before. I probably shouldn't have. It's so bare what is actually going on here. What they are doing with this vault system is they're creating an arbitrage ecosystem. They control everything. They control the buying, the possessing of the item, and then the selling of this item to another party. They are working.
It also seems like, buyers or owners or whatever are treating a collection, I guess, more like you would non-committally trade stocks on something like Robinhood or watch or crypto.
You got it.
I definitely hate this. Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
Yeah,
That's exactly what this is. It's exactly what you think it is. They are the merchant and the marketplace. It's like buying and selling stocks, literally, because when you buy and sell a stock, it's not like you get mailed the certificate that says I own these shares. It's all digital. And so when I sell it, it's all digital. This almost becomes a digital commodity in a weird fucking sense.
I mean, flat out, that's exactly what it is. You don't
have to ever see it.
You never see it.
You don't have to possess it. You don't have to keep it in your house.
That is
Uh,
that is the 100, that's the 200 proof distilled version of, where video game collecting has been going, and card collecting and comic collecting has been going, to the point where it's just numbers and money. It has finally taken it to the natural endpoint of treating things as an investment.
and speculation.
Sure.
Because you don't care about the physical object anymore. It's just, well, what's the price of it now? And how much can I sell it for? I mean, that's what it is. The dentist guy who keeps everything in, he's basically doing it for himself. He's keeping everything in in drawers in his room or whatever. He's basically
it's a portfolio. It's a portfolio. It's not a collection.
Yes, it's a portfolio. Thank you. It stops being something you care about outside of the numbers. So eBay Vault is compared to other ones now, because these are popping up, and I'll get into one that I met a person at Gold. It was actually very nice. Nothing against them at all in terms of them. Explain the concept to me for video games, which we'll get into. But the eBay Vault is offering the lowest fees in the hobby, no storage fees. Typical marketplace also does not until you do a transaction, which we'll get into. No selling fees through the vault. So eBay wants to keep it all with them for that. No selling fees. Obviously, they take a cut of the profits, things like that. Buyer's premium fees. So they're trying to get into the buyer's premium thing, which obviously everything you buy, there's a premium.
20%.
But right now, it's the seller that pays for everything. Now they're trying to make a new marketplace where there's a buyer's premium on it.
So, any auction house, Heritage Auctions, whatever,
does whatever 10% or whatever 8% for the buyer, or 20, 15%, 20%. I think it's 15% or 20. So they're trying to get into that action. They say typical marketplace vault up to 20%. Withdrawal fees. This is where it's funny to me. This is how
okay. So they're comparing different.
Yes.
Okay. So 3% would be the buyer's premium for the eBay vault. Up to 20 would be the typical marketplace. Okay, I got it now.
So withdrawal, meaning you may hold this for me for free, but eventually they got to make their money. If I said to them, "Hey, you got my Charizard fucking foil card, the one that Logan Paul has around his neck, which has plummeted in value, by the way." I don't track it, but I know Pokemon cards have plummeted in value, since everything has.
Everything that boosted over the pandemic has gone down in value. Not everything has plummeted, but it's all gone down.
Sure. So eBay's capping at $50 per card as a cap. Typical marketplace vault will charge you 1 to 3% of the value of the card or that commodity. And then submission fees, I guess, for their own auctions. I guess they're going to get into their own events, like a Heritage Auctions. None until 2024. So they want you to get into the ecosystem for a low cost right now.
Get in early.
They want to basically take a cut of these other folks. So I met Dominic at Golden Auctions at Portland last year, because now when you go to Portland, it's going to be really interesting this year to see. Because while Heritage Auctions has had a booth at Too Many Games, which is another big one, obviously not a lot of traffic. No one fucking cares. That's not why they go to Too Many Games. And again, these people that collect sealed stuff and buy and sell are very, 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 they are a small portion of a small portion to begin with. So it'll be very interesting to see if Golden and if WADA will be there. WADA is now persona non grata, obviously, at a lot of these events. Golden will be there. CGC will probably be there. So I talked to Dominic last year, because now they're doing this, and probably others are doing this with games. People are starting to do this. So meaning that if I buy something at an auction, Golden does auctions just like Heritage Auction does. I can choose to have Golden hold on to my game in their vault, safe and sound in their vault somewhere. They can hold on to it until I decide to either sell it or I take it out myself. And that's when they make their money. Where it's well, we can hold it on to it for you, but if you want to take it back, we're going to charge you a fee to withdraw it because you're now coming out of our ecosystem where we make our money selling these things. That's how they get their money. Which again, it's a business. I understand there's a need for it, but this is where we've come with collectibles hobby, where it's so naked what the end goal is, where it's just like you said, this is you might as well be trading it as a fucking NFT at this point.
Yeah, it's not a collection; it's an investment. It's not it's not a collection; it's a portfolio. It's just another numbers game at that point.
Because now you don't even have to worry about how you display it or even having the room. Say art, you got to put it somewhere, put it on a wall, and historically, art's been a great investment. because and they're mostly one of a kind items too.
Right.
So with this now, it's just playing around with objects that exist in reality. You may never ever see any of this, and I guarantee you, there are speculators that have gotten in on this, either with Golden, and this isn't on Golden. Make your money, or someone else though. But I guarantee you, there are speculators that think this is a great idea to do this. I'm going to divorce myself for any owning anything physically, in terms of like having it in my possession to look at or to share or to talk about, and it's just going to be vaulted until until the value may go up and I decide to sell it. I'll never have to deal with any shipping. I'll never have to deal with any communication. It's like me going on my Charles Schwab account, Ian, and selling stocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, they show a picture of like the app, and it literally looks like any stock app or program you've ever used. It just
Yes,
shows
with the line
number
going up. Yep. Yeah. I like, again, this is gonna satisfy those diehard. God, at this point, is it even 200 people? Maybe 300. It's funny because whenever I said Ian, I say about 200 to 300 people are in this sealed game sort of collecting thing that are really into it. I've been told through sources like that's not that far off the mark. It's probably around that, or might be under 3. Like, it's not a lot of people that can have the money to play around in this and to take these risks and think that they have an actual interest in the sealed games to that point where they could try to invest, 6 figures on these things. So, yeah. I personally can't picture using something like this because I would like to own something I would buy, even if it was 6 figures, versus having it in a vault somewhere. It kind of extinguishes that last vestige of actually collecting something, where it's like you actually own it in your possession and have it. And you can say, "Hey, Pat, you got your things in a deposit box at a bank." Yes.
But I still in a deposit box at a bank. You don't have all of them. And it's like, I don't mind this idea for 1 or 2 things, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Just like, I don't care if people buy sealed games or, graded games. It's when that becomes the entirety of your hobby.
Yes.
The entirety of your collection. That's when it gets strange.
And the intent of a deposit box is to have a safety place so someone can't like break it and steal it. Like, but I can still get it, and I've taken it out for things in like my collection video that I did last year that you didn't see, the December one. So like stuff like that, where it's still in my possession. Like, technically, it's in my vicinity. It has passed through my greasy fingers, those games.
You could go pick it up if you wanted to. It's just further away.
Yes, it's a car ride away. So anyway, so I just thought that was interesting. And I'll probably do a thumbnail where I'm holding my stain events and saying, "Should I vault this?" I'll probably...
Ew. You had one other thing that you wanted to bring up, though, on this podcast that I do think is interesting, but I mean, this is your story.
What was my story?
Well, to close off talking about the video games and close off talking about vaulting and stuff, you were going to mention 2 more prices that had plummeted.
Oh, thank you, Ian. This is why I love Ian. He reminds me of, because I'm getting old and my brain is like worm riddled. Good old Carl Jopes, who's obviously critical of WATA and some of the sealed marketplace shenanigans. He sent me something that I thought was funny, because we're always good at pointing out the heritage auctions values plummeting. It's like because you can't deny it's in black and white. It's like, oh, this isn't a crash. Yeah, 75%. Hey, Pete, hope I see you at Portland again this year. You can tell me about how it's just simply still a market correction, what we're about to talk about. Or Danielle, who likes to yell at me in person. So he sent me a couple that were goodies. Like this first one could be the largest percentage of a drop of any game ever.
The real doozy.
Tecmo Bowl, WATA 9.4 A+ sealed. Later production, not even the first print. June 2022, $144,000 for Tecmo Bowl.
Oh man!
In is it June or January? I can't tell. I think it's January. So a year and a half later, obviously things have happened. That was past the peak. By the way, the peak was probably a few months before that.
Yeah.
A better condition 9.6 A+, a better condition one went for under $5,000 April of this year. So a year and a half later, not even, that person lost nearly $140,000 in a worse grade investment. That could be the worst one percentage wise. That's worse than the Sonic the Hedgehogs. That's worse than the Mario 64s. I think, because I think the Mario 64 ended up 1.5 to like 360,000 in the golden one. That was the same sort of grade. This could be percentage wise the worst drop of any of these games that we've tried to track, because it's like 5 divided by 144. That's a 96.5% drop.
Incredible.
That's a great investment there. This other one is funny just because it's a more modern game, and I would think you'd be insane to try to invest this much money in a fucking Wii game, by the way.
Right.
Poke Park. Wii Pikachu's Adventure 2010. Are you familiar with this game at all? I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, not a particularly great game, cute, but also not particularly rare. I think this was probably just someone trying to capitalize on anything with the Pokemon name.
I would
this
think.
Sold.
I would think I said I would think any Pokemon game probably wasn't rare. Maybe some are harder to find than others, but
the second one in the series, there's a Poke Park 2. It's still, at least when I worked at Luna, it wasn't super expensive, but it was a late release title.
Sure.
So even late release Pokemon titles are going to have less print than earlier, like in the when the system is relevant. But like I said, neither of those are huge rarities. We got them through Luna all the time. The first one here sold July 27th, 2021 for $22,800. It sold 2 years later, almost exactly, same month at least, July 6, 2023 for
600.
My Eyes Are So Bad. Is that 600 or 400?
$600. So you lost 22.2. God, that percentage might be just like a 97% as well. So that's 600 divided by 22.8. Holy shit.
I think it's insane that people
that's
are
worse.
Buying these, like seeing this. Like, are they hoping that this is the dip? Are they buying the dip?
That's a 97.4% drop. So not worse money wise. That's still the Super Mario 64. That first person lost at least 1.2 million. We know that, and they've been afraid to auction off 9.8s ever since that, or even 9.6s. But percentage wise, these are bad. 97% drops on these in like a year and a half. So obviously these things peaked about this summer. They peaked probably even after Carl Job's video came out. They were still that was like September of 2021, almost 2 years ago, when my hair was poofed out because of the humidity. I still look bad in that video. So the writing was on the wall even before that video. Obviously, we try to warn folks. People obviously know what's up, and the market's obviously collapsed. And I'm not saying like I don't even know, like I don't know, like a Tecmo Bowl sealed for $5,000. Is that still a bad deal? I don't know. At least like if on its surface, it's not batshit crazy. That's what we said. Always said we've been around this enough where when you just put numbers in front of us, we're like, that's batshit crazy. The Super Mario 64, that's batshit crazy. And the people that told you it wasn't batshit crazy are the people that were invested and are still invested in it. The people that try to say, well, this is natural because look at stuff in other markets, not knowing the history of these markets, not knowing what people actually collected, and not knowing how many of some of these games are actually out there. Like that's the whole point. So we'll see. We'll be at PRG in 6 weeks, and I'd love to see how things. If there's a lot of seal, because there was that one sealed seller was not at Long Island this year.
Nope.
And I didn't see him also at Too Many Games this year, and they were at both, I believe, last year. So it's like, well, not saying there weren't sealed games there, but certain people they're not showing their faces as much, it seems.
Well, I mean, to wrap it up, it's one of those things where like so many people got so angry and I guess spiteful immediately, and it's because they realized they had a lot to lose. They have to keep a nice face on. They got to keep talking about how great it is. But when people fly off the edge like that guy did in that video,
sure.
It's because they know they're losing a shitload of money and they're trying to fucking grit their teeth through it, or like the online saying is now post through it.
And
but it's nakedly obvious.
And they are that deluded to think. Say what you will about my ego or what we think about ourselves. Some of these folks, as I've been told, actually complain and think that people like me and you, Ian, directly, we help tank this market, that we because of our podcast, we had the power to tank these like six and five
This has
figure
been brought up
investments.
against us many times. This goes back to a certain console that never materialized. But yeah, they like to blame us. And it's like, guys, if we did that, the market was your market was not strong enough. Your idea was not strong enough to stand on its own, because these people think we're nobody. They'll say we're nobodies, but then they will also say that we have the power to destroy what they're doing. And we
Correct.
don't have that power to destroy what they're doing. We just know how to call it.
We know how to call it. We were just reflective of common sense economics and a marketplace that we've been around, both of us combined, for half a fucking century.
600 years experience.
Yeah, 600. No, seriously, me and Ian's collecting experience is at least 50 years combined. So it's like,
say at least 50, sure.
Yeah, because we both started like mid to late 90s. So like,
yeah, my mid-teens, and I'm 41. So
you old man, you. That's what it comes down to. We are reflective of the, I guess, silent majority when it comes to these forces at work, whether it's failed consoles or failed marketplaces that are hyped up by speculation. That's it.